Hello everyone, it's Kristen here at Joyfully Thriving and welcome back to my stockpile. I know a lot of you found me through my stockpile tour video, so I thought with it being a new year, it's time to talk about how my stockpile looks now and what my goals are for it going into 2023 this year. So let's talk stockpile, shall we? I firmly believe that having a stockpile is one of the best ways to save your family money. If you have not seen my whole stockpile tour, I will leave a link to that in the description below so you can check it out. But let me just give you a couple quick facts about my stockpile and things you need to know before we dive into everything today. So we are a family of 6, and this is a working stockpile. Everything that you're going to see on these shelves and in my pantry is something that I use on a regular basis. If I don't use it, then I don't store it. My stockpile is going to look different from your stockpile for that very reason. Everyone needs to stockpile what your family uses on a regular basis. If you don't use it, don't put it on your shelves. It'll just waste your space and your money. My stockpile has been built slowly over the past year or two with my monthly $475 grocery budget. I don't have a separate budget for stockpiling. When I see a great sale, I add to my stockpile and stock up then. That's how I do it, slow and methodically. So yes, that's what you're going to see, a working stockpile of everything that our family uses on a regular basis. All right, I'm sure there's lots more that I have to show you and tell you, so let's just start and let me give you an overview quickly. Let's start by going upstairs to my kitchen and I'll show you how our pantry looks right now and what you see up there, and then we'll come back down here and go through my stockpile and talk about those things. Here's a quick real life look into my pantry of things I use on a regular basis, just so you can see how I stock and how much I have. Our crackers here, things that the kids can get into, quick oats and old-fashioned oats, and then we'll go down a level and work our way back. Some pasta, dried apples, rice, snack jars with some things, instant oatmeal, lots of popcorn, hot chocolate, always a staple, and pepperoni. Let me walk you over now and show you my regular kitchen pantry. This is my pantry in my kitchen with the things I use on a regular basis. So you can see that I take things from downstairs in the stockpile and bring it up here to work from and use. So we'll start here on the bottom. Olive oil. These tins contain things that I'm just keeping safe and together. So I have the small container here is mini or regular size bags of chocolate chips. The larger bins in the back, I have one that is full of the chocolate chips I get from Sam's Club, so they're large bags. I can fit 3 of them in one container. And then in the other container, I have quick oats and old-fashioned oats. I just have started dumping my bins when I buy them into a gallon Ziploc bag, and then I put those Ziploc bags inside there. I can fit about 4 or 5 containers of oatmeal in a bin this way, just to keep it safe. Then I have some caramels and different things in bins so it stacks easily with the next brown sugar and powdered sugar. Flour, I can keep about 25 pounds, 20 to 30 pounds up here, and those are 4-pound bags. So right now I have 32 pounds of sugar right on that shelf. And then just a variety of canned goods. As you can see, they go back pretty far, 5 or 6 cans, most of them stacked too high. Next shelf has macaroni and cheese, pasta, or tomatoes, olives, those type of things. Baking goods, a lot of cake mixes there, jellos, puddings, those are pretty much all pudding, not that I use for baking, just different baking things. And then the top shelf is chips. And then right next to this in our kitchen, there is this little shelf here that has pretty much become my extra food storage with a couple of the kids' things. And then in the back, there's some cereal, but it's pretty much, these stack 2 back. So when you see, for each one you see, there's really 2 going back. So there's 6 cornbread, 6 graham crackers. On the other side, I have extra Triscuits right now, so it looks like 8 Triscuits. Lots of pasta right there. And then on this side, again, more crackers. This bin is some chocolate and things. There's some extra hot chocolate and cornbread back there. Lots of different pastas and crackers right here. So that's what's in my kitchen right now at the beginning of 2023 and how my pantry looks. So let's go look at my stockpile and talk about what my plans are for this year. Okay, so now you've seen the upstairs kitchen pantry that I use every day as I'm baking. So what I typically do is I keep that space stocked upstairs and I refill it from down here, the things that I'm going to show you next. And then when I see gaps down here, downstairs in our basement, this is an unfinished basement where we store things. So I just have a couple different shelves here. That's when I know to restock. My stockpile goal for 2023 is to get my family to a solid 6 to 12 month supply of the things we regularly use. I'm probably there in some things and I'm not quite there in other things. So that's what I want to do. I've talked before about my baby steps to building a stockpile. And if you're new to this, this is something you're definitely going to check out. I will leave a link to that video in the description as well. But it is just a slow and methodical way to go about building your stockpile. So you're not randomly trying to do it all at once. For me, what I'm doing to this point is I need to figure out what I have and then how I'm going to add to it. So let's go ahead and walk through the stockpile next, and then I'll show you and kind of tell you where I'm filling in the gaps and focusing this year. So let's take a look at these shelves. All right, I'm not going to go into as much detail as I did on my original stockpile video. I'll just kind of give you overviews. If I see something that jumps out, I will talk to you about those things. Right now, I'm still storing our plasticware and bags in here, and that is definitely one of the areas I'm actually focusing on restocking is plastic bags and those type of saran wrap, foil, all of those things. I'm running a little low on those. So that's one area I'm definitely going to be restocking. Here's kind of the backup laundry detergent. I use the liquid. The powder really is more of a backup. Applesauce cups and peach cups for kids' lunches. We pretty much use mainly applesauce, and that really needs to be restocked there. Some cocoa, a little bit of apple juice there. And then we'll just kind of, again, pan back through at the top. If you're new here, last time I said in my empty canning jars, I do store water as just a backup emergency source. Jars take up the same amount of space, whether they're filled or emptied, so I'm just trying to maximize that. I have candied jalapenos, broth that I have canned, a lot of salsa, that's what I can the most of, store-bought jam this year, pickles, jalapenos, different things there. That I'm pretty much just using throughout the year as we go through with things that I've canned. Then down here we have some nuts, a little more salsa, onion soup mix, canned goods of peppers, some random condiments. This shelf, I pretty much know exactly how much we need in a year, which would be about 6 ketchups, 4 syrups, 4 oils, oil sprays, and then 6 canola oils. We use that, we make a lot of popcorn and in some muffins and things. So I'm running a little low and need to restock my oils and syrup there. I have 1 shelf of apple juice. We go through, it takes us about a week and a half to go through 1 bottle. I have 4 kids. They just drink a small glass for breakfast in the morning. So really I need 4 bottles to get me through 1 month. So right there, that's about a 3-month supply. And I need to have a whole nother shelf really to get us to 6 months. And then if we move over, you can see the shelf is looking a little emptier. I've used some things there. I do want to restock some of my tomatoes. I'm starting to run low. A lot more Parmesan cheese, peanut butter, and things here. I am actually trying to work through some of this peanut butter before I restock. 2 of my kids like peanut butter, and I do, and we'll eat it for lunch and things. The others don't eat it as much, and I do bake with it. So I'm going to work on using up some of this before I restock on peanut butter. Applesauce, we go through a lot of applesauce in our family, so that's what you see there. Again, we probably go through about 2 jars on any given week, so that's why I need to multiply it out and get a lot more applesauce. All right, let's go around the corner and I'll show you the rest of my stockpile right now and talk you through that as well. Okay, we're back here in the corner of our basement, so it's a little bit of storage, some empty jars, dishwashing detergent on top. Just a little bit of storage there. I'd like to move that around so this is truly all stockpile things. some empty canning jars. That bin's kind of our emergency lighters and different things, emergency preps. Here I have pasta, some just spaghetti noodles down here, some different canned fruits, a lot of tomato sauce and tomato paste right there. I do make my own spaghetti sauce most of the time, and I want to work through some of that again before I restock. It's super easy, more cost efficient. I do really need to restock pumpkin. I did not buy any this year, did not find a great sale, and we're running low on that. So that's on my list to restock. Here we have kind of my pressure canner, water bath canner, paper plates, cups, cast iron skillet there. And then I'll move around. Start here at the bottom. That's a bin of cookie cutters and different things, and then plasticware and bowls just in bins to keep them there. Again, more applesauce. I'm actually working at really increasing more applesauce this year because that's the fruit we eat a lot of and it lasts a long time. Some green beans and tomatoes behind it. So there's 12 on each of those, and then I have 2 racks of canned corn behind that as well. A bit of canned soups, really just cream of chicken and tomato. That's what I use the most of for baking. Some diced tomatoes, a little bit of store-bought salsa, applesauce pouches from when we travel. I try to always keep some of those on hand. Some honey, which I don't use regularly, but I do like to have it because it lasts a long time, basically indefinitely. So that's a great thing to have in your stockpile. Some canned salsa from A Good Deal. Canned chicken, again, I don't really use that a whole lot. It's more of an emergency backup, and the expiration's still a while out. Olives, which I discovered this year, have a really long expiration date, so I actually do want to add some olives to our shelf before the price goes up again. Some instant milk, which I use mainly for bread baking, a couple of juice pouches, some wine, and then I do have a couple of cans of long-term food storage. That's kind of things that last 30 years or more. I've really only bought those when I find a really good deal on Amazon. So that is pretty much how my stockpile looks right now. I do have water stored. I have about 2 weeks worth of water stored for our family, averaging a gallon a week. And you can kind of see in the back, I do have some bins, which is where I have our flours and sugars and other things there. So that is how my stockpile looks right now at the beginning of 2023. Just a quick overview. So let's go back and talk a bit more about my goals for this coming year stockpile-wise. Okay, so that's really just a very quick highlight of our stockpile and how it looks now. Again, if you want more details about how and why I stockpile things, check out that full tour video, and I really talk through it all in a lot more detail and explain how and why I store what I do. Yes, there are some things in cardboard. If you notice that, we are in an unfinished basement, but we don't generally have a mice problem, thankfully. I have started storing more things in some plastic 5-gallon bins, as well as in some food safe, about 3-gallon size bins that I've gotten from friends who run a Kilwins. So they're great. They're food safe bins, and I love them. They're a great size. So I've started putting a lot more things in them, like you saw upstairs in my pantry, even with chocolate chips and oatmeal, just to keep it contained and safe and grouped nicely, so I kind of know what's there. Like I think I even have one with some extra mac and cheese, just things that are grouped together. So one of my big goals for this year, like I said, is to build that 6 to 12 month stockpile of food. So how do I go about doing it? Well, the first thing is you have to figure out what you need and how much your family uses. So one of the things I've been doing, and I shared this on Instagram a while, is I've really been working on dating things. So this was November 20th was when I started using this can of cooking spray. And I'm really trying to date things. Now, these are things that last longer than what you would typically use. I'm not dating cans because I would use a whole can of something in one day, but I'm trying to date things like my dishwashing soap, my dishwashing detergent, anything that lasts a long time, the spray oil, a regular thing of oil. I've done it with apple juice. I've done it with my hand soap. I'm trying to do it with anything that would last longer than a day or two once opened. And it's super easy to do. You can do it with your kitchen things. You can do it with your toiletries, your shampoo, your conditioner, your contact solution, any of those things. And I think it's really important to do that. And my goal for this year is to do it with pretty much everything. So I have a good idea of how long it really takes me to go through 10 pounds of flour or 4 pounds of sugar. I really want to know consistently how much I'm using. Yes, I know it's an average and some months are going to be higher than ever, but knowing that is still better than just guessing and making up a number out of there. So I'd encourage you to do the same. Just start dating things. Super easy to do. Just grab a Sharpie, keep it out, and start dating those things and paying attention to how long it takes you to go through them. Then once you know that, it's easy to start multiplying out to get to where you want to be. The next way to go about it then is to develop a menu plan of the meals that your family regularly eats. When most families, you stick to the same meals within 1 or 2 weeks. So you can figure that out. Plan for leftovers, of course, a night or two, because everyone needs to eat up the leftovers so they're not going to waste. In our family, that includes meals like tacos. We eat tacos regularly. We eat poppy seed chicken. We eat a casserole called John Set, which is like noodles and a hamburger and cheese, tomato soups in it, some different things, an enchilada casserole, just different things. We do hamburgers regularly. Go through those menus, list them out, and once you do, then you can break it out by ingredients and say, okay, if we're doing tacos every week, I need this many boxes of hard tortilla shells. You know, you can't do this with everything, obviously. Cheese lasts a while, but some things are not shelf stable, so you can't do it for everything. But you can work towards having that much meat in the freezer. If you use a pound of hamburger a week for your tacos and you want to have enough for 3 months, well, you multiply it out. You need at least 12 pounds of ground beef for hamburger in your freezer. Along with your taco seasoning, your taco shells, you could have shredded cheese in your freezer. You could store that in the freezer to last for a while. But all sorts of things. Or if you're doing things like poppy seed chicken, I know that involves like 2 sleeves of Ritz crackers every time I bake it. 2 cans of cream of chicken soup are the shelf and stable ingredients. So I would multiply that out again to get me to that 6 to 12 months of what I need to have on hand. That's my goal this year, is to really pay attention to what we are eating on a regular basis and what we are using. More than just food, a stockpile should be anything you're using. So if you have kids in diapers, it includes diapers. It includes your laundry detergent, your dish detergent, your soap and shampoo, your contact solution. Anything your family is using on a regular basis can and should be in your stockpile. So some of the things that I am working on stockpiling this year that you saw from my shelves are, I am really working on building up applesauce, because I know we use that regularly. Apple juice is one of the things I use regularly. Flour. I know we go through about 20 pounds of flour a month. I bake our own bread. I bake cookies and muffins, and we do a lot of baking for ourselves and other people. So that's my goal, is about 20 pounds a month, but I'm still going to be tracking that to make sure that's really accurate. I'm going to work through a couple things that we have before I restock, and that includes peanut butter and our cream of chicken soups. I have a decent amount of those built up, and I want to make sure we're really using those before I restock and get up to that 6-month supply. But those are a couple of things, as well as I want to make sure we are truly at the 6 to 12 month supply of all my dishwashing things. I have enough dish soap. I know we go through like Palmolive. I go through about 1 a month. I tracked that. It lasted longer than I thought, actually. So I have enough for a whole year of dish soap. I know that. But I want to make sure I have enough of my dishwashing soap. I just finished my bottle, and I realized it lasted me almost 3 months. I don't run it every day, our dishwasher, but I was surprised it actually lasted as long as it did. So I need to build that up a little bit more, as well as our laundry detergent. Again, I'm trying to build that up to have that 6 to 12. I do have buckets of powdered detergent, and I can use that, and certainly do occasionally, but that really is, because it's powdered, I use that kind of as my emergency backup that I just want to have on hand and leave it sitting there. But those are a couple of the things. Oh, and canned tomatoes. I've used a lot of those, of my diced tomatoes and crushed tomatoes in the smaller and larger cans. So those are some of the ingredients that I'm working on stockpiling. And as I said, sandwich bags and those type of things, foil, some of those things that will last forever too once you have them in your stockpile. So those are some of the ingredients I'm working, and separate things working on stockpiling this year. Do you have a list of things like that? Now, once you know with this how much you need, the next thing to work on is saving money building your stockpile. Sure, you could go out to Walmart and spend a bunch of money right now today and build up your stockpile. And maybe you want to do that for a couple things to have a good start to your stockpile. But then the way to do it that I recommend personally is just watching the sales. Start paying attention to your local sale flyers, and the next time you see a great deal on, say, pasta. This week, if you have a Kroger near you when I'm recording this video, pasta was 79 cents a box. Well, instead of just buying what I'm going to use this week and maybe even next week and for the rest of the month, I'm going to go and make sure I buy enough to last my family for 2 months, 3 months, whatever the goal is. I don't clear shelves when I do this. I never empty anything on the shelves. But if it's available and it's on sale and there's plenty there, I will take what our family can use, and I will buy more than just 1 or 2. I really believe in that. Buy 1 for now and 2 or more for later. You are building a stockpile to save your family money. The prices are going to keep going up. I know inflation is already at over 12% averaged out over the past year for food. And I'm convinced we're not done seeing inflation. The prices are going to keep going higher. So think of it this way. And I've said this before, but you could take $100 today, put it in the bank at your 3% interest, and okay, it's sitting there, you're earning something. Or you could take that same $100, go out and buy $100 worth of food, shelf-stable food today, and at 12% interest, you're making more money. That's a 9% increase over the 3% in the bank. So it's a different way of thinking, but you are saving your family money by going out and building a stockpile at these prices today, because unfortunately, it's looking doubtful we're going to see prices go back down again. That's the frustrating part about inflation. It goes up and it will level out eventually, but we rarely ever see prices come back to what they were. So all of this to say, having a stockpile really can help save your family money. It takes time, but you can do it. And it's something that I'm going to be working on this year too. If you want to learn more about stockpiling, I have a whole bunch of videos for you. Be sure you subscribe to my channel, because I will be sharing updates on how the stockpile is going. And every week on Thursdays, I share a weekly grocery haul of what I am buying for our family. And in those, you will regularly see things that I'm using that week, as well as what I'm adding to the sale, my stockpile through the sales. And I'll share the deals and things that you can be looking out for too, wherever you are. And I try to always include, I know not everyone has the stores I do, but some tips of things that are generally on sale at different times to help you wherever you are, add to your stockpile and save your family money. So I'd love to know, do you have a stockpile? And what are your goals for your stockpile this year in 2023? It's great to have your own grocery store in your basement. I love having it. It saves me so much time and money. And I really hope that you will work on it too this year, so that we can all have a great practical emergency fund for our families built up in our own homes. If you have any questions or things you want to know, be sure to ask me in the comments and I'll do my best to help. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.